Welcome everybody to our...
shit, really? Already?
Yeah.
Oh, man. We live. Ooh, yeah. Ooh. Coming at you live.
I am your boy, Obi-Wan. And right across from me
is the other boy.
As you can see, is the other boy.
The rapper. The trapper. Oh! No, I don't trap, bro. I'm too soft to trap. What's up, man?
I'm lost, man. Define trapping.
I don't know. I get canceled, bro, if I made the joke that I was gonna make.
Are you talking about like if a girl?
Whoa! I was talking about trapping animals in the wild and eating them, bro. Where are you going, bro?
I don't know, man. Nowadays, I think animals is a more sensitive topic
than people.
Yeah,
stop it.
So
thanks, Sound of Freedom.
What are we talking about today, bro? Talk to me. What are we talking about? It's been a while since we've been on.
The comic books company that's on your forehead, bro.
When was Batman Day? Yesterday.
We're talking about Blue Beetle, bro. DC,
yeah,
man.
Yeah, no, I know that. I'm just saying, but
DC,
either way, the hat.
DC,
I have the fascist on my head.
Don't mind the cracking if y'all hear some cracking. I was in wreck.
He was. I can confirm. I was there. Well, I at the aftermath, but I went.
I came and I went. Yeah, just pop in cracking, bro. It's whatever.
Dude, is it?
Talk about.
Relax.
Talk about. It's the adrenaline, man. Talk about my commitment levels.
Talk about commitment. This dude got on the wreck and he's like, "Are we recording or what?" And I was like, "Dude, you should go home."
He was like, "You should go home." And I was like, "Bro, the hospital can wait."
As you guys can see,
if I have any brain damage,
he's here.
It's too late.
He hit his self-destruct button with the top of his car.
Oh, my soft spot.
Yeah. That's the self-destruct button.
See? And I'm still here.
Yep.
Got a song in my head. I just can't get it out. Because I'm going to get copyrighted.
As you guys can see on the top right corner, we have a little logo on the screen. And we're actually testing out this new app.
You said top right, and why did I look top left? Dude, a fucking...
Hey, maybe you got a Caucasian, bro. You got to go home.
A Caucasus?
Yeah.
From the mountains of Caucasus?
All I'm saying is I'm liking this app so far. And anyway, let's talk about Blue Beetle.
Coming live from the king. When I say dumb, you just flip it back. Coming live from the king. Dumb. Did you flip it?
I am.
Sick.
I did.
Quality improvement thanks to the funding from YouTube. Psych. All 23 subscribers, bro. Is it even? It's the 17, isn't it?
I don't know. But I mean, we
appreciate all 17
We do appreciate everybody. So help us grow, share with all your loved ones. Tell them about
this. Comment, subscribe.
Yep.
Pass it along.
Exactly.
Turn on the noties.
Yeah. Turn on the little bell so whenever we upload, you're notified and you're like, oh, these dudes.
Every time you turn on the bell, I kick them in the balls.
What? What?
I said every time you turn on the bell, I kick them in the balls.
I click on that
Bing.
bell.
Before we start talking about Blue Beetle, bro, let me bring something up.
All right.
As my eyes twitching. Let me bring something up. Why is it? What's more painful? Birth? A woman giving birth? Or a guy getting kicked in the balls, bro? Because a woman gives birth, right, and she wants another kid.
Right.
A guy gets kicked in the B sack, and you don't ask for another kick to the B sack. So which one hurts more?
Have you ever heard me say, Ralph, today's a beautiful day. I feel like getting kicked in the nuts.
Exactly, bro.
Never.
Nope. Big facts.
Yep.
That's out of the way.
Women will be like, oh, look at my son. He's so beautiful. Let's have another one. What?
And when have you asked me to kick you in the B sack? Or her?
They got epidural for women, so it won't hurt. They don't have that for us. Remember high school? Who the hell thought in high school, hey, let's play this because this is gonna be the greatest game ever.
Is that why I'm sterile?
Let's put. Dude, I'm not gonna joke.
I'm just kidding.
I think Logan was probably my miracle child.
Okay, TMI, bro.
Because, dude, I don't know who the hell. I know who started that stupid game in high school.
Who was it? It wasn't me.
It wasn't you. It wasn't me. But whoever's the first person that comes to your mind, that was him.
He who must not be named?
Yep, he who must not be named. He's like, hey, this looks like a good game. Bah! As he's walking next to you. And of course, it's that type of thing where you're like, I'm going to get this dude back so good. And you do. But then as it happens, he's like, I'm going to get this dude back so good. And it's just a chain. And it gets worse and worse and worse.
It was at the most random, inopportune times. Like, he just randomly, like, bah! Literally be walking down the mall. Just, you remember when he got you with his foot?
Oh, man. Oh, dude. Before that game, there was the other one that was dead leg. That they would come to you and they would knee you right on your thigh and your whole thing would just go in shock. On the floor. I mean, I didn't.
Well, with that dude, he who must not be named legs. His soccer legs.
He was all bones, man. So,
his soccer legs.
It was rope try.
Dude, that dude, he could talk his shit. You could talk shit, but he hit hard when it came to the dead leg.
He was good in that game.
He was good.
He was good.
And the beast hat game, bro.
Yeah, and the beast hat game. Anyway, moving on.
I'm traumatized.
Speaking of beast sacks,
if I go to therapy, I'm sending him a fucking bill, bro. Fucking traumatized.
I'm suing him for emotional distress.
If I never pop out a kid, I'm suing his ass, bro. You're my witness. You're my witness.
I was there. I was there too.
I hit him a few times.
I got a few cracks at it, but you know, that's besides the point.
You're like, if you guarantee my immunity, I'm there. I'm there.
Full immunity too.
Oh my god.
Blue Beetle.
I
know we may be a few weeks behind.
Months?
No.
Months?
Has it been that long?
Month?
Here's the thing, though. This is why the subject, when we were discussing about our next subject, we brought it up, and the first thing that came to our head was, isn't it a bit too late? And I feel like yes and no. Yes, it has been out in theaters for a month now, and I think you can still probably catch it in the theaters.
It'll probably be on HBO Max within 2 weeks.
Probably.
So you could watch it then if you didn't watch it in theaters, because I know a lot of y'all didn't watch it in theaters.
And I know a lot of y'all probably still won't. It barely broke even. Because I don't know if you saw in the last couple weeks, it caught a bit of momentum, especially on movie theater day when movie tickets were $5.
Yeah.
It caught momentum. Like people started watching it.
It's like Mexicans, we show up to the party late, bro. How long did it take before you and I actually went ahead and saw it? It took a minute. It took what, maybe 3 weeks? We went like 3 weeks after the fact. No, 2.
I think it was 2 weeks. And I think the wait wasn't that long. Yeah.
And they still had that popcorn bucket.
They did, yeah. The backpack.
I could take popcorn on the go, bro. You know how sick that would be in Disneyland? You pop that backpack on, you throw the popcorn in your bag, your little backpack.
Oh, you challenging it.
And the homies.
You go with the DC.
With the ops. As a Marvel fan, I'm going.
As a Marvel fan, you're going.
I'm gonna rep the ops.
Yep.
Nah, dude, but like, could you imagine popcorn backpack and then be like, just walking around. You randomly, I want some popcorn, bro. Boom, nom, boom, close it.
Man,
you're welcome. For the identity
guy. It caught momentum on. I noticed that, but not only that, but I saw more from Hispanic comedians that were actually promoting the crap out of it.
Like who?
Well, there's this dude. He's a comedian, but I've mainly seen him do like funny TikToks.
Felipe Esparza made a cameo.
And I think maybe that's why some comedians were trying to promote because of Felipe Esparza.
George Lopez was one of the main comedians in there.
You know what? Ever since the George Lopez and the Ralph Barbosa feud, I don't think he has a lot of support from Hispanics.
No, not that bad.
I think it's pretty bad.
I still buy with him, bro. I still rock with
this movie. I love. Shoot.
A lot of people actually were expecting the worst from him.
Yeah.
From what I heard.
Yeah.
They were expecting horrible acting, and it was like really good at the end of the day.
There's this TikToker. He does a lot of like little skits. But he came out and he was in an interview and he's like I don't do superhero movies. He's like they're there all the time, whatever. He started off his thing like kind of like bashing him at first.
He's talking shit.
And then he's like someone told him, "Hey, Esparza's in it. Felipe Esparza's in it for a bit, but the whole movie is worth it."
You're like, support the homie?
Yeah, but his thing was like, he's like, I'm mainly doing it because of Esparza. Like, I'm supporting. But he's like, he basically said, I saw the movie, and he's like, I loved it. Like, I loved it start to finish. His main thing was I quote, there is no better Mexican representation in a movie than this one. And I was like...
Because the argument could be said about Wakanda Forever, but it's not really an argument because like you're going Mexican culture versus ancient Mayan and Mesoamerican, so it's like two different cultures, two different time periods. So
them fools are blue.
What skin color got to do with it, bro?
They're
blue. They're blue outside the water, bro.
It's not oxygen.
LBC, bro. LBC. The apps, bro.
Dude. So let's talk about the pros of this movie because
what are we starting? We starting with the actual talk of the movie?
Yeah, we're starting with the actual talk of the movie. Let's start with the pros.
I'm doing my Kendrick dance.
I don't think that's how he dances, but okay. You Kendrick dancing started off. What'd you think? Pros.
No, actually, the movie as a whole was a pro, man. Like the representation from like a lot of the times, like when the family would interact, like when they're cheering. I remember my 8th grade promotion. My family was cheering like that, whatever they were in the stands,
dude.
Like they were that embarrassing family every once in a while.
They were. So I'm saying from mine too, because that's one thing my older brother hated. Whenever we would drop him off in high school or pick him up from high school. And my mom or my grandma would come out and be like, they'll do the lowest like, I can't. he was like, dude, one time they did that to him. I was there. And dude, he ignored us and went to the bus and took the bus home.
Dude, why you putting your brother on blast like that? He deserves it.
He deserves it. I was humble. They did it to me and I was like pretending to whistle back because I couldn't do it.
It's like you're hitting.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm taking my meth.
Man, keep going. What else?
No, the representation was great. It was very entertaining. It had its funny, cheesy moments. But, I mean, that's neither here nor there. I was kind of expected with the trailers. But overall, it was a good movie. As a person that's never seen Blue Beetle, never known of the character, my only introduction was through my nephew playing Injustice 2. Shout out, Neek Merckx.
Ooh.
Shout out, Neek Merckx.
Neek. We don't want any copyright. It's Neek.
It's Neek.
Not the other guy.
With a Q. He's better. My nephew's better. Anywho, yeah, like, that's the only time I ever saw him. He chose him, and I was like, who the hell is that guy? And he was like, Blue Beetle. Don't you know? And then, literally, the name's right there. It's like, you didn't know either, fool. But I remember we were playing Injustice at his house, and that's when I kind of caught wind of him, but I never got into it, because, you know, repping Marvel all the time.
Right.
Oh, I don't have Spider-Man.
Oh, what are you doing?
I was like, bro.
Dude, are you sure that Rick didn't mess up something?
It's a symbiote.
There's something wrong with the fuse, man.
Oh, shit, I'm popping. Pop locking. No, dude, but yeah, like, it was a good movie. What other pros do I have? The suit, I mean, the suit was pretty cool, just in terms of, it felt very Iron Man-y with, like, him being, like, shown inside the helmet.
To me, it felt more cyborg.
I mean, in terms of, like, whenever it shows him.
Yeah. Oh,
like,
yeah,
that's what I meant.
Yeah.
So, like, that had very Iron, like it had an Iron Man feel, like him flying into the atmosphere, Iron Man
and
feel
talking
when he takes his first flight.
Yeah.
But man, how horrible would it be to witness that transformation when the Beetle gets on his back? It's all embedded in his skin, and he's like on the roof transforming
up his ass,
looking at his uncle, and he's like on the roof. Just like full on like exorcism type thing. And
even Lopez is like, he's possessed.
And the Virgin Mary's right there too. They make it a point to constantly pivot back to the Virgin Mary.
Yeah.
But it was a good movie, man. Like as far as pros go, like it's very entertaining, very fun. Good representation. Very much needed representation because there's not a lot of Hispanic. There's not a lot of Mexican superheroes out there.
Mm-hmm.
No real Mexican superheroes. This actually proved its point. It made a point to be like this. He's Mexican. He's like,
and yeah,
El Paso, dude. Damn, turning American. El Paso,
American.
El Paso type Mexican from Texas. I mean, granted, it wasn't there, but yeah, like as far as positives go, I mean, that's all I gotta say.
I agree,
and then more
with everything. It was amazing. Like this is the one where. For all of you out there who are complaining about not having some sort of inclusion in like these type of movies, this is it. This is the one. This is for you, especially any Hispanic, but especially the Mexican people, because not only do you find a sort of connection with this movie through its actors and actresses, because I mean the actors themselves, oh my god, they picked the right ones for every single thing, and them showing the difference between the adults, like only speaking Spanish. The uncle who speaks both or speaks both really well, and the younger no sabo ones. Like you see all these generations, and you see how well they made them.
Mama Coco doesn't even speak Spanish or English.
English. She doesn't. No English word was spoken out of her mouth, man. And it was just funny.
That's what I was looking at, bro. Your dog's over here licking her taint. I'm trying to ignore it, bro, but it's just there. Just doing it, and I'm like, it feels so wrong, but why am I still staring? Wish I could do that.
So in terms of like representation, it started off with a bang, and the best way to do that is with music. The music choice. Oh my god, man! Every single song, even they started off with Calle 13. I mean, yes, he is not Mexican. However, when it comes to I think he probably considers himself like more, because he's done so much for the Mexican community. I mean, him being one of the few. Remember when there was that case about the Ayotzinapa students missing?
No,
really. In Mexico, I think it was.
The 24 students
that they were missing. He was literally the only one that went on stage and took off his shirt, and he had the whole like basically supporting the whole finding these students.
I've never heard a dog lick their teeth that loud.
She's a Frenchie, man. Leave her alone.
Why? What you trying to say? French? The French are weird?
No. Music. So it started off with that one either way, and they bring in Vicente Fernandez.
Oh my god! And then they do the Vicente Fernandez. Bro, I almost started. I was gonna pull out a chela and just. He was transforming into Blue Beetle to Vicente Fernandez. To El Rey.
Yeah.
Out of all the songs, El Rey.
They picked the best actors for this. They just
Pepe Aguilar, right? There was a lot of music in there.
All of them. I mean, as far as I know, all of
Selena
them
too. Right?
Yeah, Selena was in there. Yeah,
Selena was somewhere in there. Man,
Luis Miguel. Miguel was also. I mean, that's El Sol de Mexico, man.
But you're forgetting the most important one, the most important piece of Hispanic culture, Mexican culture at that.
El Chapulín.
Man,
Chapulín Colorado.
Yes, bro.
He made a cameo, and I was telling Ralphie, I was like, did you know that he's like DC, like
Lois Lane's,
he's Lois Lane's
son,
his strange son, basically. And a lot of people didn't know that. Luisa Lane. If you Google it, his mom, they say his mom's name is Luisa Lane.
Luisa Lane. Jeez.
But Chapulín Colorado makes a cameo. Felipe Esparza, that's where he comes out and basically says, "Hey, no mames, Chapulín Colorado." The choice of words, it's just everything, like start to finish. The premise was good. I got one complaint though. Nothing related with the movie, but people were saying that it was basically Ant-Man. What do you think?
I mean, I feel like it was a mix of the first Ant-Man and a mix with some Iron Man elements thrown into it, with some maybe even Spider-Man elements thrown into it. But that's just me looking at it from like the stuff I've seen. Because, I mean, you look at how he is. Jaime is just a kid. He's he's a little older, but he acts kind of like dumb in some cases. Not as stupid as a kid that age would, though. Still a little smart. But just like in terms of how shy he is in front of his love interest. Mm-hmm. But the Ant-Man, the whole heist thing, that's where I see that. And then as far as Iron Man, like the fight. The main villain is just him, the opposite of him in another mechanized robot suit. Mm-hmm. Like I could see how people could kind of like perceive it that way, but at the same time, I'm like, you know what? It may look like it, but we've just been exposed to so much superhero content as a whole that we're gonna start noticing these things everywhere.
Yeah,
there's gonna be, I mean, yeah, like nothing truly is original anymore.
Like, well, that's what I was gonna say. That's actually pretty spot on. I was gonna that's when I saw that, I was like, okay, because they started basically grabbing the major points of the storyline and comparing it to Ant-Man, and I was like, okay, first of all, to me, it's not the same thing. Mm-mm. Because that's the premise of the story, like the certain points of the story, those are pretty basic.
Yeah,
like it's just there's always a love interest. There's always a way that they manage to get a suit. And most of the time, the first villain, like when it comes to the movies, it's not uncommon that it's a polar opposite.
Yeah.
So I was like, what are you trying to dig here? Because Paul Rudd's actor is a thief. This kid is not.
No.
This kid like he comes from like a low income family, and I was like that. So I mean, you can thoroughly dissect both of these movies, and they're really not alike. Like they're kind of their own thing, but it's just the same story that's taken just with a different character.
Yeah. If you really wanted to be picky and like a jerk about it, you could say at their core, they're all mythological characters. Mm-hmm. At their core, you're always gonna see the hero's journey, this and that from the Odyssey and stuff like that. If you really wanted to be a jerk about it, there's no real. How do I go about it? I kind of dug a hole. I kind of dug a hole.
It's that Caucasian, man. It's hitting your head.
Yeah, it's a Caucasian, bro. No, yeah, like it just everything is gonna be similar, but everything's inspired by something else. Mm-hmm. Is what I'm trying to go towards.
Yeah,
like superheroes have all been inspired from Greek legends, mostly Greek legends, but yeah, like if everything's gonna have some sort of similarity.
You don't hear someone being like, "Oh, this dude is fighting someone like fighting way bigger than him." That's David and Goliath.
Yeah.
What? Stop.
That guy's strong. He's got buff muscles. He's got muscles.
Whoa.
He's got.
You sure you're good?
Might not be. He's got muscles. He's Hercules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically,
you can't. People are gonna people, man.
And here's the thing, though. The storyline, I loved it. There was a lot of funny moments. It was a really well balanced movie. There was the good sad moments where I mean, the chemistry with the actors and pretend or them showing like what a family is. It's spot on.
It did get a little annoying at times.
Yeah,
it did get a little annoying at times. But Solo Maria Dueña deserves his flowers, bro.
He does.
Solo.
Cholo. How
do you? It's an X, bro. It's Solo.
X-Solo.
X-Solo. He X-Men, bro.
Dude, it was spot on. We saw the calling her Mama Coco because she
did. She did her hair.
Yeah.
Boom. I was like, oh.
Very common Mexican hairdo.
First thing he said was, Mama Coco's gone rogue.
Yeah, Mama Coco's gone rogue because she pulled out a freaking railgun. And you can tell that she was a revolutionary when she was.
What would she say? Abajo los fascistas? No, not fascists. Imperialistas.
Yeah.
Down with the imperialists.
Yep.
I was like, dude.
I think even the director said that it would be fun to like do a spin-off of like her revolutionary years.
Dude, that would be so sick. I'm down.
I think so too.
Dude, you know what would be even sicker? If you start seeing like she's seen superheroes before in DC, like DC superheroes, like in the 1920s. Well, she's not that old, is she? Is she?
I don't think she was. I don't know.
Cause
I don't really know much about the grandma.
Yeah, like
I barely know much about Blue Beetle. I knew about him like from Brave and the Bold from Batman. And then Injustice. But either way, they don't really like touch much on him. Even in Injustice, I mean, I think it's on Injustice 2 where he makes an appearance.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know.
I always thought that the mouth was weird. Like you could see his mouth move.
Yeah.
Like it was cool. Like it would be cool if he just had his face
I love covered. His suit. But it's in the face area that it also throws me off. And I'm like,
His eyes were pretty cool.
Yeah.
You could see his eyes. A lot of like his mannerisms and expressions reminded me of Deadpool. Like when he splits a butt in half, he's like the bus in half. He's like kind of like Deadpool. But
how about that Mortal Kombat reference? Get over here!
Oh,
yes, that part was pretty cool.
Was it? He was when he was fighting.
It was when he the tunnel fight.
Yeah,
which was also a really good fight too. And he pulls out the whip and grabs the guy. He's like, "Get over here!" But his voice gets a little deep, like when he screams.
That went over my head, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I remember that part, but why did that go over my head?
Boy, damn, man.
Damn.
It was pretty cool. I thought it was cool.
The movie as a whole was good, but it's not without its flaws. I mean, its antagonist was boring and bland. Mm-hmm. And I guess from a DC fan standpoint, like a lot of people came out and said that they just pretty much merged two different characters into one. Mm-hmm. What's his name? Korvax?
Who's?
The bad guy?
Something like that.
Something like that. Like he's Korvax and then his name is something else, and he's like in the comics he's two different characters. And they just put him into one. But I think I made it. But yeah, like it's just. I mean, the movie is pretty good.
The only that would be one of the cons. I guess I could agree with. Yeah, the villain. I mean, the thing is that they show you this guy who is fighting for a purpose, basically.
But you don't know his purpose.
But you don't know his purpose towards the end when he's already gonna die.
And by then, it's like, why?
Right.
Like, it kind of comes out of left field because you're like, okay, he has a purpose, but this whole time he's fighting for his family, but he's trying to kill Jaime and his family, but he doesn't see that he's pretty much.
Well, his family's dead, I think, from what I remember.
Yeah, but the thing is like you're killing your family, or like you're killing this kid's family. Something that was done to you, you know how much it hurts, but you don't realize it until the end, right when he kicked your ass.
Yeah. Not only that, but he shows his loyalty to what's the lady's name? The evil lady?
Something Cord.
She's
Jenny Cord's to him as love interest. She's his aunt. She's her aunt.
And he shows his loyalty, but I mean, in the on the flashbacks, it showed like that she also like was responsible for a lot of his like modifications and all that. So I'm like,
you're letting her experiment on you, and then you get mad that she experimented on you. Like that ending part was kind of like weird.
Yeah,
because you could pick it apart for days.
Right.
But I mean, he served his purpose. He was just a villain. I feel like the main point of the movie was to show Jaime his family and how they support him, and he supports them. And if he can, he'll try to help them to his utmost abilities. But that ending fight scene was weird. I mean, CGI was off, but it wasn't as off as some of these Marvel movies that have come out.
Yeah.
It looked pretty good for what it was. For the budget it had, because it was supposed to be an HBO Max movie. Along with Batgirl.
Well, I think either way, the budget was what, 100 mil?
It was 100 mil. 104. I think.
Yeah, and I think it barely broke even.
I think like last I checked, it was like at 108. So it may have broken even, or it may have just like barely missed that mark to break even. But regardless, like with marketing and stuff like that.
But either way, I have a feeling that once it's out on HBO Max, it's gonna have a lot of streams, and that's gonna push for. Because I mean, at this point, and this is where it kind of makes me mad. So I mean, I guess that's still talking about the movie. That's one of the cons. Another one, when we talked about it while we were there, is the whole Palmer City, like them looking at what basically is supposed to be like the downtown of their city, and they're not so far away from it, like distance wise. Like they make it seem like, oh, like we're basically living in poverty, and they're right there, you know, like just a few streets away.
Yeah, literally they could see into the city skyline.
Yeah.
But the colors were a little wonky, and the city itself was a little too futuristic for my taste, especially with what you're trying to go for. Like, I get they were trying to show that city was technologically advanced because of the Cord company.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, at the same time, it's like, you guys might have pushed it just a little bit too much with the holograms, and all you needed was flying cars at that point, and you're like 20.
Dude,
I'm getting ready.
I think we also... What?
I'm getting ready to go on a rant.
Go.
I'm jump starting. Finish what you were saying, and then I'm gonna jump start it.
Well, I was gonna go into a bit of a rant because so this movie, like we've mentioned before, it broke even, barely broke even. What could have caused this to happen? Two things: the strikes. I think that played a pretty big part, but I think what played a bigger part was the toxic hypocrite DC fans. I'm a huge DC person, but you know
you're a huge DC person. How huge, bro?
I'm a huge DC fan.
How huge?
Look at me.
This is all DC right here.
This is all DC. This ain't no 70% water. This
ain't 60% body fat.
Yo,
this is all DC fandom.
This is all DC flowing through these veins.
Veins. That's what he sounded throughout the whole movie, bro.
He did. You know what? People love the third Nolan Batman movie, but I was like, I still have issues with some voices. Anyway,
I vibe with it, bro. I was wondering what would break first. Respect. Hey, buddy. Sick, bro.
It was pretty sick.
Sick.
It was sick, but the voice I was like, sick. Tom Hardy has a badass voice. So
that's some badass traps.
And for him to be his voice to be nerfed like that, I was like, is that really the best option?
You know what I like about Tom Hardy, and this is off topic? The Venom. How he's Eddie Brock and he's got that hard Brooklyn accent. Or not Brooklyn, but New York accent. And then the Venom voice, have you noticed a little twinge of like British when Venom speaks? Apparently, yeah. Tom Hardy doesn't cut back on his accent. He lets it flow. It's just his voice just modified. It's just him talking. Yeah, like
I haven't noticed the accent.
You're gonna notice it now, big boy.
Big DC boy.
Big DC boy. No, man, like
Well, either way, like where I was going with that is ever since Zack Snyder was appointed director of Man of Steel, I've always been a Zack Snyder fan.
Oh, okay.
Like I've always been behind him, rooting for him, all of his work.
In front of him.
On the side.
Never in the front, but never in the back. Always from the side.
And I mean, ever since Watchmen, to me, Watchmen was like a huge awakening into like what he could do with a superhero movie. I don't care. I don't care.
Fucking Matrix.
But you're okay. You're okay to do that,
superheroes.
But you're okay to do that though, because you've never been really like a fan of the Watchmen or some of his
300
work.
Was my favorite movie as a kid. Now that's cap,
it was
bro.
A lot of people.
That's cap, but I did love it. And that cinematography that he did for it, awesome. But then he just doesn't evolve as a director. It's the same formula for every movie. But
slow-mos and all that type of stuff.
Always slow-mo. Every frame has to be like a screenshot of a comic panel. It's like, I get it. I get what you're going for, but let's evolve a little bit. Let's go into real filmmaking. Right. Not just try to bring a graphic novel to life, because it doesn't always translate well.
And that's completely fine. I was okay with his form of storytelling either way. And I mean, the slow-mo can get a bit boring sometimes.
Is storytelling you were cool with?
Yeah.
Did you see the leaks for the Justice League movie? Batman was supposed to die.
Yeah. Superman's
kid was supposed to be powerless. His kid was supposed to be the new Batman.
I mean, it's not happening.
So I pray to God it doesn't. It's not with these...
Not with these toxic fans.
Not with these toxic DC.
Where I was going...
Not even DC.
Dude,
Snyder fans.
I'll give you a good example of some of my favorite storytelling. Dawn of the Dead. I was obsessed with that movie to the point that not only did I watch it a shit ton of times, but the deleted scenes and the bonus feature scenes that the DVD had.
How many slow-mo scenes were in that? None.
Hardly. Yeah.
None.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. He found this little niche where everything has to be slow-mo, and he's stuck with it.
Yeah.
Why? Dawn of the Dead is a Dawn of the bleh. Can't even talk right,
Dawn
bro.
of the
No, Dawn of the Dead is a great movie, but you don't see a lot of slow-mo. If anything, like maybe 1 or 2 scenes. But nothing like to the extent of like, what's the one he did with Padilla, the City of the Dead or whatever it was called?
Army of the Dead.
Army of the Dead. Like that one was ridiculously like, boom, hit with the baseball bat, slow-mo, even freeze frame. It's like, dude, you don't need that kind of thing, man.
And Dawn of the Dead, there was some slow-mo scenes, but they were...
Not to that extent.
Not to that extent, and they were used on the right moments. The one I can think of right off the bat is... damn, I was obsessed with this movie, and I don't remember the name of the characters. But the guy, one of the main male protagonists that had the crush with the blonde nurse, later in the mall, he grabs the stick and stabs it through the zombie's head. And they go straight through. That one was but
that one was.
But you know what though? It was slow.
Stop.
When he goes like this, when he like holds his head and then he finally stabs it through, it goes slow. But I feel like they did that to get their money's worth. Because I remember in the bonus features, dude, I'm telling you, I was like really obsessed with this movie. And those bonus features, they were showing the mechanics of like how they did the whole head thing with the thing going through. And I'm pretty sure they mentioned the price. I don't remember exactly how much, and I was like, damn, that was expensive. So I was like, they got their money's worth.
Worth every penny.
Worth every penny. We're gonna slow the shit out of this so you guys can see.
But when it comes to that, like you said, okay, Dawn of the Dead is one of the good movies. Mm-hmm. But I feel like a lot of these DC fans that back Zack Snyder, they don't back their own brand. Marvel fans, like myself, will show up to the theater, even if the movie is garbage. We'll still show up just to see what's up. Right. Just to follow up with the story. DC fans love to claim DC and how much they love Batman, Superman, but they don't show up for these movies.
Right.
If they really love these movies, they would have showed up for Batman versus Superman. Mm-hmm. And then they would have shown up for even Man of Steel. But they didn't. They started showing up around Aquaman, but in reality, that's just because they were... It's not, I don't even think it was mostly DC fans, because even hardcore DC fans had problems with the movie. DC fans always have problems with their movies.
Right.
They don't learn to like what they're given.
Here's the thing. This is why, like in the beginning, I was like, I don't relate to a lot of these hypocrites. It's because a lot of these people were against Zack Snyder after Man of Steel.
Yeah.
There was a lot of pushback,
and then they got pissed because they wanted him to finish his movies.
Yeah. So it's like, make up your mind. But after Man of Steel, he was gaining a lot of pushback, and then not only that, Dawn of Justice comes out. I love Dawn of Justice. You know that. You like, dude. Literally, the movies that he's been involved with, you know that I like or I love.
I knew you liked them. I knew you loved Dawn of Justice because you saw because you saw the extended cut. You liked it at first, then you saw the extended cut, and then you loved it.
Right.
The 30 minutes is what made you like love it. The Snyder cut of Justice League, the 4-hour cut, made you love it. But that's the thing. Like, a lot of that movie that Zack Snyder dropped for HBO Max, a lot of it is just fat that you could easily trim.
Right.
You don't need all 4 hours. That was just kind of like... He built up towards something that wasn't even... Dude, instead of focusing on the 4 hours, he should have just done the what... If he really liked his fans, like the way he supposedly portrays he does, he would have just done the first two hours of the movie. I give y'all your Justice League that y'all were supposed to get. Second half, forget everything else. Let's bring in Darkseid. 2 hours to make a Darkseid movie of them just strictly going into like a Darkseid war. Perfect. That would have been great. But you didn't need all 4 hours. Hell, extend it another. Make the second half of it 3 hours. But I mean,
I get it. And the thing is that so most people back in the day, they were against Zack Snyder. They were against these dark ass movies. They were like, "Oh, these movies are so dark. These movies like this, those whole Zack Snyder." Dude, and it was a movement against them.
My favorite joke has always been the Deadpool one.
Which one?
Where he's fighting against Cable. Yeah. He's like, "Oh, you're so dark. Are you sure you're not from the DC universe?"
Yeah.
It's like, facts, bro.
Right, but like that's what it was. And back then there was a whole movement to get rid of him. And then the unfortunate happens. His daughter commits suicide. He leaves. Oh. Joss Whedon comes over, changes Justice League.
He butchered and bastardized this movie.
I feel like that dude was hired. Like Marvel was like, "Hey, take this dude so you can fuck your shit up."
I don't think it was Marvel, bro.
It was his thing.
I think it was DC just trying to capitalize on what Marvel did with the Avengers. They said, he did the first 2 Avengers movies. What can he do for DC?
Well, I don't think. It's part of it, but I think that back then, even right now, you might still argue that that's still the case with Warner Brothers. It's the 1 billion mark. They saw the Avengers brought it. They wanted it.
Yeah. And
who would? As a movie studio, who wouldn't, right? But ever since they got close to it, Dawn of Justice got close to it, Justice League got close to it, Aquaman passed it.
Aquaman was their top grossing movie.
It was
until Barbie dethroned it.
And I'll be honest, now we're going off the whole rant I was doing over the whole Zack Snyder. I'll get back to that.
Toxic Zack Snyder fan, bro.
Toxic hypocrites, dude. Like, I was always backing up Zack Snyder because I was like, you just, like they say nowadays, you gotta let him cook. Let him cook. Like, literally, let him. You have to let him. Toxic fans, man, they piss me off. They pissed me off because of that same reason that they started. Now, David Ayer he's actually, from what I've been reading on Twitter, he sounds like a pretty solid guy.
Yeah, he seems like a chill dude.
Yeah, he seems like a chill dude. He seems like he knows that there's no way this 8-year cut is ever going to be released. But the little details that he's given of how involved Warner Brothers actually was, it's like, man, I can understand why they butchered so many of these scenes in his movie. So with Zack Snyder, like I said, his daughter committed suicide. They bring in Joss Whedon. He's completely gone. I don't think Warner Brothers ever really had, because the movement to get rid of him was pretty big. I don't think Warner Brothers ever really had the plan to bring him back.
No, they didn't. It's the same thing with Henry Cavill. And that's the other thing that pissed off Zack Snyder fans, is that James Gunn came in and he pretty much butchered whatever Zack Snyder was doing. That's what pissed a lot of people off.
Yeah. Is
that he got rid of Henry Cavill, but he kept Harcourt and whatever people he had in his Suicide Squad, and then Wonder Woman, and then some iteration of the Flash, mm-hmm. and I guess Aquaman is supposed to be the same one, but then it's not. That's why a lot of people are going against these new movies. But at the same time, it's like, it's your movie series. Like, it's almost as if I would have been pissed at Sony for what they did to Spider-Man, and I wouldn't have gone to support the Amazing Spider-Man movies. I was there. Mm-hmm. I went twice to each. I was still supporting the movie because, in my way, I liked them. But I wasn't mad over the fact that they rebooted it and didn't proceed with Tobey Maguire. I just went ahead and did a new thing. I was participating in their new thing. And then eventually that failed. I was still there. I was still a loyal Marvel fan.
Even Spider-Man me, fan. Not even a Spider-Man fan. And I've told you many times, Tobey Maguire is, to me, still the top one.
That's when you stopped.
I didn't, honestly, the Amazing Spider-Man didn't really get my attention at all. But we still went to all the Tom Holland ones.
Yeah.
So it's like, even me, as not even that hardcore of a Marvel fan, I'm still going to support these superhero movies because I'm like, I'm not going to be a freaking hypocrite, you know?
Yeah.
I like Tobey Maguire. Andrew Garfield didn't really get my attention, but Tom Holland's, I was like, he's attached to the Avengers. I have to go watch it.
Yeah.
It turns into I have to go watch it type of thing. So
just to follow up with the story.
Exactly. So same thing with these, all these, the Zack Snyder movies. Now that they're, I don't even know why the fans are still bitching about it. They're like, oh, the Zack Snyder was going to do this and do that. I'm like, you guys didn't want him. And now that he's gone, you kind of realize what he was going into, and now you want him back because you're not liking where it's heading.
Do you realize how poetic that is in a way?
What do you
mean? Like how that mirrors Dawn of Justice in a weird way. How people didn't like Cavill as Superman, but as soon as he died, people were like, in the movie, mm-hmm. people then missed him.
Yeah.
And they wanted him back after his death. And not to say Zack Snyder's dead, but after he was gone, now people are like, well, we didn't know what we had.
But it's stupid. It's so now because Zack Snyder is no longer involved and Henry Cavill is no longer involved, It's like no, we're not supporting James Gunn. What?
It's like that is so stupid.
That is the dumbest thing.
Do you realize? Do you realize what James Gunn did for the cosmic side of Marvel? And you don't have that belief that he could do better with DC with full control.
You gotta let him cook.
Let him cook, bro. But at the same time, like do you realize like the way I saw Guardians of the Galaxy is they let him pick whatever team that was based in the far universe, and they let him do his thing. If it wasn't for him, I'm pretty sure Thanos would have been delayed another 2 or 3 movies. Maybe, yeah. Maybe at that point. But yeah, like you gotta let these people do their thing, man. Like Warner Brothers chose him and he's up for it. He didn't want to touch Superman because he knows how toxic these Zack Snyder fans. He had
his own requirements. He's like, you want me to do it? Fine, but it's gotta be this way.
And I gotta write it.
Yep.
And I gotta write it my own way. I guess he's following supposedly what he said, he's following pretty close to the All-Star Superman comic book run, which is a really popular run among Superman fans.
Yep.
But at the same time, it's like, you got to let him do his thing. You can't just go up against him just because he's the op.
It's dumb. Like, it's like
what, I'm not a big DC fan.
You know what though? Like with Zack Snyder, they were complaining about how dark everything was.
Yeah. And
now that James Gunn is here,
they think it's going to be too comedic.
They think it's going to be too comedic. And I'm like, so what do you want?
It's okay. So if it were to be too comedic, how do you know? You haven't seen his product. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was dark enough. And the jokes weren't stupid slapstick in your face kind of jokes. Granted, 2 might have been a little different. This was a completely different movie. He's worked under DC, came back for Marvel, finished his thing, going back to DC. All that experience is going to lead to a very good product. I don't get why these people are still pissy over it. What I do see, when it comes to James Gunn's plan for the DC universe, is that he says things that don't match up what's being shown on screen. Flash was supposed to be a reboot. It was supposed to completely reset the DC universe. It was the best superhero movie he's ever seen. 7 at best. Right. We did the review. Check it out. 7 at best.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, he said it was going to completely reset the DC universe. Still got to see Aquaman. And then we got a different version of Batman. And then we got to see Wonder Woman. And I guess they're making a third and final movie with her.
And it turns out that might have been a lie.
It might have been a lie.
She came out and said that she hasn't met up with them.
She said it, but nothing's been confirmed. Right. But with Blue Beetle, he said the same thing. He said, this is going to be the first character in my universe. Then when people asked him, part of the rebooter universe? It's like, no, he's the first character, but the movie's not part of my universe. But he is the first character. So unless he does his first movie as with Superman, as if he does a Crisis to where then he shows where this new timeline is going, then I can understand. But he has to do something to show it. But he just completely says one thing, backtracks, says another thing, backtracks if it doesn't perform well. That's why a lot of fans are pretty pissed about it. That I understand. But other than that, there's not really much I could say on that.
I can see that too. But I can also see that, like, this is what... I mean, we just said it. Let him cook. However, you also got to see what he came to. I mean, the last movie that I guess you can say was decent enough was the Black Adam one. And then he comes afterwards.
That was half decent.
And he's like, all right, The Rock said this thing. That's not happening. Cavill's not back.
But that's the thing, too, with the Zack Snyder fans fucking turn their back on The Rock.
Yeah.
The Rock was pushing for it. The Rock put Henry Cavill as Superman in it. It didn't generate enough hype. If these Zack Snyder fans really love Zack Snyder as much as they did, they would have shown up for the movie and they would have blown the box office up. That one barely broke even too.
Yep.
It might have made a little bit of money, but they just don't show up for these movies, and then they have the nerve to complain about it. It's like The Rock gave you what you wanted, and y'all still didn't show up for him.
On that though, the route that The Rock took, I'm not on board. Yeah. Because I'm like, dude, you're a Shazam character.
Yeah.
You versus Superman right off the bat, no. You got to work your way. That's the final boss type of thing. You know, you got to fight the first couple Koopas before you get to freaking to Bowser. You can't just go straight to Superman. No, Shazam is your guy.
Yeah.
So that's where I was kind of not on board. But The Rock's name when it was happening, because right now he's actually getting a lot of backlash for a lot of stuff, including for Black Adam. But
shit, he was barely accepted onto Fast and the Furious again.
Yeah.
And that's probably because Black Adam didn't do what it was supposed to do. Because he swore he was never going to go back.
Mm-hmm.
And he still showed up at the end credit scene.
Yep. And it's like
Fast X was better than that. I was kidding.
So now it's like with the whole James Gunn was handed a plate that's messy. It is a huge mess. Because honestly, to me, the perfect reboot would have been the Flash reboots everything.
Yeah.
Hard reboot. Not a soft reboot.
None of that
hard.
None of that stupid cameo stuff either.
Right.
With George Clooney. None of that. Just
because now that just confuses the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's like what? He's the new Batman?
And
like he's
showing Aquaman too?
Yep.
It's like, okay, I get it, you gotta show this next movie, but what the hell?
I kinda got excited when they were like, oh, apparently Jason Momoa is gonna be Lobo now. I was like, he should have been Lobo since the beginning.
Yeah.
That was a miscast. Like they that was the wrong casting for Arthur. I get it what they try to do.
They wanted to go like the representation route and give you somebody that was from the Pacific Islands as Aquaman, because it makes more sense than an Atlantean blonde hair, blue eyed guy. But I'm like, Aquaman's still Aquaman. I don't like Aquaman.
I like Aquaman, but I'm okay with the blonde, blue eyed. Doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, the dude looks more like Lobo.
Yeah.
Than like Aquaman.
Dude, his real life persona is Lobo. He loves motorcycles. He loves drinking. I think he loves cigars.
Yep, that's the main man.
That's the main man, bro.
So now there's Aquaman 2. So to me, the best thing would have been a hard reboot, no soft shit. The Flash is doing it.
No soft, all hardcore, bro.
And what I mean by a hard reboot is Ezra Miller. I don't even know what's going on with that anymore. Like, is he still going to be the Flash or not? Hopefully not, because whatever he did wasn't that soft.
No.
So, no Barry Allen.
Just bring in Wally West.
Hard reboot, bring in Wally West.
He died. They're going to do the Poochie from The Simpsons. He went to another planet and died.
Dude. Bring it, hard reboot. Bring in Wally West. He's your first character.
But here's the thing.
You bring in the Blue Beetle. You have a new Batman. You get a new Superman, a new Wonder Woman. Like cancel Aquaman 2, regardless of how much money it was wasted.
It's a tax write-off if you cancel it. But it's like forget just blank slate. Forget forget your Justice League, forget your Batman, forget your Superman. Yeah, they're your money makers, they're your box office draw. Start off with Blue Beetle, lead it into Young Justice. Blue Beetle comes across Batman. Batman's like, I noticed this alien tech. Or hell, even Cyborg. Cyborg shows up. Hey, I noticed this alien tech. Let's investigate it. Cyborg is into the Justice League. The Justice League is too busy with other threats. Make him part of your Young Justice.
Right.
They could do that, but at the same time, we don't know what's going to happen. But DC is going to DC, and they're going to do their own thing at the end of the day.
We don't. And you know what's crazy is that, hypothetically, if I was in charge, get rid of Barry Allen, bring in Wally West, bring in Blue Beetle afterwards, build up a friendship between Wally West and Blue Beetle, somehow connect them to Robert Pattinson's Batman, because having two Batmans going on at the same time,
it's what we did our Flash review.
Having two Batmans going on at the same time is just going to confuse the shit out of people.
It is.
Because there's some people that don't follow that don't follow exactly what's going on like us, like we do. There's some people.
Shit, not even I do, bro. I'd get confused.
It's like
I was confused.
Oh,
when
Matt Reeves' Batman 2? Which one was the first one? Was it with Ben Affleck or was it with the new guy?
When did Ben Affleck do a movie?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Pattinson got a movie before Affleck. That's a crime on its own. But whatever.
He did it.
I liked his movie. Don't start.
He did a better job.
Don't start.
As a young Batman, we're not talking about Batman. We're talking about Blue Beetle. You went off on a tangent again.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So yeah.
Go watch it.
Go watch it. You guys literally
HBO Max. It's been 2 months.
It's been 2 months. It's been a while. If you can still catch it in the theaters, go watch it. If not, wait for an HBO Max. But this is the movie that you have to support.
Had to support. It might be too late now.
I don't know. I think if the streaming brings the numbers in for HBO Max, I think
it might be a Spider-Man thing because Into the Spider-Verse did not do all that well, and whenever they got that movie was put onto Netflix, it did numbers on Netflix, and that was an incentive for Sony to greenlight the next one. Granted, they had already written the second one, but they for sure greenlit it after that boost, and it benefited. So hopefully, if it streams, it makes good numbers, and people.
I have a feeling that's what's gonna happen.
Hopefully, because Cholo Maridueña was really good. His family was really good. George Lopez cracked me up.
The whole movie was good. Like, this movie was literally, what would you rate it?
Honestly, probably an 8 out of 10. So far, honestly, you're gonna say you're lying. To me, this was probably top tier for the connected universe DC movies. That was, for me, it's like up there.
I give it a 9 because I still want to watch it again.
Yeah, like I have,
and here's the thing. I don't know what the target audience is. Maybe us.
I was gonna say it's not mostly kids because with that nun, that nun preview.
Whoever thought that it was good to add the nun as one of the previews had lost their job, because there was the second time I went to watch it with my kids, kids were screaming, bro, because the nun trailer came out. They were screaming.
I covered my ears and my face, bro. I wasn't even vibing with that, bro.
You're like, oh, what's that high pitched screaming? And it's Ralphie on the corner. So,
like the girl just
yeah, dude. My kids. I mean, like I said, the target audience, I'm pretty sure was more like for people like us. I loved it. I took my kids. My kids loved it.
Yeah,
they loved the movie. I took my parents. They loved it. Like, this is literally a movie for all generations,
for families.
Yep. And I cannot recommend it enough.
Let's get into some controversy real quick.
What's up?
I'm not gonna say the podcast name, but you know which one I'm talking about. The one with all the white people. The one with all the people. The what's it called? Should we say the name or not?
Oh no. The guy with the cat.
No,
that's what he's known for, isn't he?
Nerdotic. The people that were bashing the movie because it was too Mexican and too Hispanic. They don't know anything about our culture, and they claim that they do, and they got behind it, and they just bashed it because it was too in your face.
Yep.
And it's like, this movie is not like that. There's movies where they push it. They really shove this kind of thing in your face.
Then yes, say the
Nerdotic. They fucking suck.
Stupid.
When it comes to that kind of thing, how can you say shit like that whenever you're not Hispanic? You don't know our culture.
Even the title, dude. Remember the title?
They did something stupid where it was like they were talking.
I think there was like some tacos,
yeah. And like they started off this stupid rant by talking. Oh, he really came back from from college, and the first thing he wanted to do was, or they took him to eat, was tacos. The most stereotypical food is like, dude, as a Hispanic, every once in a while, being from LA, the first thing I would do is go to Tacos Mexico. To go eat some of the tacos. If it wasn't my chili cheese fries, I would go eat some of those street tacos because the one here in Arizona suck. I said it. I don't care. But
I agree.
It's really one of those stupid things. Like, if you don't know the culture, don't open your damn mouth and claim to know the culture or defend a culture that you don't even, you probably don't even like. Probably don't even like Mexicans. And they were bringing up these stupid reasons to hate it because the movie itself was representation, and they were saying it was bad representation. It's like, y'all have no clue what it's like to be in a Hispanic family. That movie did really well with the Hispanic representation.
It hit every mark. Every freaking one.
Like the references, the music, and then whenever you get to the grandma watching TV, gonna laugh.
The furniture.
The first thing I noticed whenever she was watching TV is, I used to watch this novela with my mom. Maybe even my brother.
Mariana del Barrio?
Maybe. Mariana la del Barrio. That was one of the novelas they were watching. And then they showed Chapulín Colorado. And then they showed El Blue Demon versus Las Momias de Guanajuato.
Oh, man. That was such a freaking throwback.
Again, you and I are Hispanic. You and I know a bunch of these movies. They don't, and yet they still had the nerve to come out and be like, "Oh no, it's just you're just trying to pander to an audience that's not really responding to it." It's like a lot of the people that went that are Hispanic really enjoyed that kind of thing, especially me and you.
It reminded me a lot of, there's this dude, I forget his name, this white guy. He does this experiment where he like puts on clothing of like certain cultures, and he'll go around asking college kids,
Yeah,
"Do you think this is offensive?" And they always go, yeah. Well, are you Mexican? No. Then yeah, it's offensive.
Yeah.
And then he goes to like these spots where there's like a bunch of like elderly people from these cultures, and they'll be like, "Do you think
They laugh at him?"
And they'll like, "No, like it's
funny.
awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. You look great." And so I think he even came out that same guy came out in the news once and said, "This is the reason why I do these type of experiments."
Yeah.
It's like it's people that want to be offended and literally try their best to be offended.
Like, there's a way you do these things. Like, if you're dressing up as a Native American on Halloween and you're using us as a costume, that's a no.
That's different.
That's different,
Right?
Because you're pretending to be something you're not. And you're not really respecting the culture,
Right.
When it comes to somebody, if you see a white guy that wants to dress with cowboy boots and a big Mexican style belt buckle, if he respects the culture, and as long as he's not doing it to piss people off and ridicule the people that culture pertains to, there's nothing to get mad about. But like, yeah, it's
Another good example. Your nephew always bumping Mexican music while we were playing Warzone.
bro.
Dude, don't get me wrong. Like, I guess you can consider him a Nosawa kid. He knows Spanish pretty well.
Spanish. Yeah.
He knows Spanish pretty well. But yeah, we were playing yesterday.
He was playing Chalito Sanchez
and he was
again.
playing that. And dude, my older brother was like, "Dude, that is dope." Like,
It's funny, dude.
I
love that.
Cool. And to me, I was like, as a kid, an 8th grader, like liking that type of music, that's really unheard of. Like you have all these other kids. Yeah.
That's
like
old.
Yeah. It's really unheard of. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
But this is one of those situations where if he were to be like, does it offend you if I listen to this? No.
Like,
even me that I don't even like that type of music, I'm like, all right, that's pretty dope.
the Saturday I went to his house too. Like, he was bumping it, and my brother was there, and I was like, I told my brother, I was like, did you introduce him to this? He was like, no, you probably did. And I was like, I don't remember ever bumping Chalino Sanchez around this kid, bro. He discovered it on his own, man.
Yeah, that's dope.
But yeah, it was funny, man. But that's the thing, like, you can't defend the culture if there's nothing to defend.
Right.
And the movie did such a good job with representing Hispanic culture. Like, when you draw the comparison between this and then maybe what's another movie, like it feels like they're pushing a narrative to your face. Like, I almost want to say Captain Marvel, where they wanted to push the girl power in your face, and they even threw a little thing in Avengers Endgame where it was kind of cringy, but I could see why they did it for little girls. But
I can see that too. But we mentioned it when we saw it. I was like, dude, if they take that whole scene out, nothing really would change.
Nothing would change. But the thing about that scene is, like, you're telling me that from all the 40, 50 heroes that are on the battlefield, only the women showed up to save Peter Parker? Like, come on, man. Come on. And
the underage kid.
Stop. Here you go. Watch Sound of Freedom,
Pause.
sir. Watch Sound of Freedom, sir. You need to be enlightened.
Yep.
With these jokes. Unsavory jokes.
And this reminded me of that controversy that was going on. I think another YouTuber or maybe a podcaster released for Wakanda, the second one.
Yeah.
Remember? That is like, how are you going to have all these people of color making gorilla noises and all this type of stuff? And I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, what exactly are you doing? Like, where is the line drawn? You know what I mean?
Wasn't it because they called M'Baku the white gorilla?
Yep.
Like, I think I remember that. And I was like, why?
I don't know, man. People
are gonna people, man.
People are gonna people.
People just gonna people.
And that is the end of this episode.
Is it? I'm ready to go on another minute.
Well, dude, we just hit over the hour, man.
Is it?
And it's 10.
I see 45 minutes, bro.
This is the second time, though. The first one's 30 minutes.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap.
Remember to share us on all your social media.
Hat guy, you got away.
Follow us.
Hat guy, you know who you are. You got away with this one, bro. Just saying.
Yep,
We coming
for you, Hat guy.
We coming for you.
Because I know he's a fake character. He just does it for the controversy.
Tupac Biggie style, bro. Not like that though. Not. No, you know what? Maybe not like. I shouldn't say that because then that sounds bad.
All they did was diss tracks. They never really hurt each other, right? That we know of.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Remember to follow us on all social media under
Eminem,
Serial
Machine Gun
Nerdism.
Kelly, bro. He looked like Machine Gun Kelly too, bro. You know what I'm talking about.
Stop, bro. Share us on all your social media.
Bro, we might catch clout. We might catch clout, bro.
Like he does?
Yeah, like he does.
I don't want it.
I want the smoke, bro.
That's bad. I mean, I want the smoke, but that's bad clout.
I want the smoke with him, bro. And that is it for this episode.
Ralphie and Obi-Wan logging out.